One of the questions I'm being posed quite often is cybersecurity roadmap. How do I develop my career? I'm just getting into the field and it's really interesting and so on. And what I'd like to go quickly through here, what you can do and what you should not do. So it's really the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you look at America alone, there's approximately 500,000 plus positions available in cybersecurity and also related careers. Now, we can look at a roadmap from an end user point of view or an employer and how you can get there. What can you do to develop your own career? Can you talk to some mentors in the field? As an employee, what do you have to do to develop yourself? And as an employer, what do you have to do to develop your staff? And there will definitely be pain points along the way. Before you get into wanting to look at cybersecurity, make sure you understand the ethics. I've got two links for you here. One as an RFC, a request for comment, 1087. Short 2 pages telling you what you should and should not do within computer systems when you use that. And also in Wikipedia currently there is a cyber ethics link you can look at. And one of the largest certification development organizations in the world, which is ISC squared, which is International Information Systems Security Certification Consortium, has got ethics that you have to go through before you can actually write the exam. For example, they've got 4 canons. Canon 1 means protect the society, the common good, the necessary public trust and confidence, and also the infrastructure. Canon 2 says act honorably, honestly, justly, responsibly, and legally. So that means you can't do anything illegally, because you will actually not be able to write the certification or lose your certification if you have it already. Canon 3 says provide diligence, competent service to principals, meaning only do the job that you are certified to do. Don't do anything that's outside your comfort zone or your knowledge space. It's not fair on the client. And then Canon 4, advance and protect the profession. So when you actually read in detail on these, it's all to do with how you actually behave yourself, making sure you keep your knowledge up to date, and how you empower your peers to be also cybersecurity professionals. There are certain certifications available, and we look at them very quickly. IC Squared, they have certifications. We have ISACA, which is more in the auditing field, but they are driving down into the security management, corporate governance and risk management. There are certain bodies like the EC Council, which have the ethical hacking certification. OSCP, a little bit more technical and drill down between those two. And then also from CompTIA, we have Pen Test Plus. Now, I also want to make sure you understand that penetration testing, although it looks exciting and so on, it's not at the higher level of cybersecurity. And I'll get back to that point now. Quickly look at IC Squared as an example. The CISSP is the golden certification for information security worldwide. It is known as the Certified Information Systems Security Professional with 8 domains, and you have to pass an exam and have at least 5 years experience in 2 or more of those domains. And once you've done that, you can specialize in the architecture, the engineering, or the management professional side. They also have other certifications for software development, for example. The one I've put in red here, that's the forensics, which they have stopped, presumably due to the volatility of the subject. There's also the certified accreditation professional in the healthcare. You have the SSCP, which is a little bit at the level where you have help desk or the guy at the coal face. And then also they've got a new development that's not showed here in the cloud security. Now, where can I start? I mean, this is quite at the advanced level. Many of us are mesmerized by movies that put hackers on pedestals, such as Mr. Robot and more, which you would like to hack and get into organizations. There are numerous training resources available, numerous. We have got formal universities with certifications. We've got online training, for example, Udemy, Cybery, and many more. We've got instructor-led training, which has got its advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, you create a peer network in your training environment. Disadvantages, you have to take some time off, or it can be quite expensive. And then there's also self-study. And self-study is sometimes seen as really some of the best because you actually dedicate and you actually show that you actually give your time before you ask anybody to pay for you. Now, there's also, if you want to look at the job openings in the market, there is a cybersec.org, as you can see here, and heatmap.html. Now, if we look at America at a national level here, there's currently, as today's date, which is the beginning of February 2020, just over 500,000 total cybersecurity job openings. And you can see the heat map on the actual map there of where the biggest demand is. For example, Florida, on the right-hand side at the bottom, very good example. And the total employed cybersecurity workforce is nearly 1 million users. Now, when you look at this, the top security job titles that they want to fill includes a cybersecurity engineer. Now, that is lots of experience and in-depth knowledge. We've got an analyst, we've got network engineering or architect, the cybersecurity consultants, cybersecurity manager or administrator, systems engineer, a vulnerability analyst and a penetration tester, software developer and engineer, and also cybersecurity specialist or a technician. Now, where you can go from an entry level, if we look at this in the career pathway, in the entry level, you can do a specialist or a technician at cybersecurity. You can start at a help desk in organization where you start running around, you're learning a lot. You know, it's an entry level. Your salary might not be that good, but you're getting your feet in the door. You can be a cybercrime analyst or investigator. So if you're working in the police environment or any of those kind of forces, you can be in the military or air force, and you can also get from there. And then also an incident analyst or responder. Now, when we look at cyber forensics, you have a specialist, but before you become a specialist, you become a first responder, which means you can actually get the basics and secure stuff and so on. That's where you start to learn. And also an IT auditor. A very good field to start in with because you will get the actual framework and the fundamentals of the sort of like international standards that you have to do. And then once you get the next step, you can actually go to a cybersecurity analyst. So you start knowing systems very, very well at a very deep level. And this is a continuous process. You can't just learn once and think you'll be an expert. You have to live this in a daily way. We can be a consultant. That in the example there, as a cybersecurity consultant, in America, there's 21,000 approximate positions open, and with an average salary of $107,000. Once you're in that field, you can go to the advanced level where you're an architect, engineer, or actually the administrator or manager for a whole team. Now, if we look at then the certification and what's available, so we have the demand versus the holders. Here we have CompTIA Security Plus. The ratio here means 3.33, which means there are more than 3 people available for every job opening. Now, as you go down here, GIAC, which is the certification for Global Information Security Assurance, there we have 1.36 people available for every job. And the next one, we start seeing that there are more demand in the field than actual people, right up to CISSP, CISA, and also CISM. CISM, you can see if you have that certification, the probability of getting a job is very good. Now, what you shouldn't do, as you promote and progress in your job career and so on, avoid any hackers hacking or script kiddies. Don't get involved with that, because if you do something illegal and you don't understand and know the local and international cybersecurity laws, you can be arrested, and that's a career-limiting move. Also, once you're actually in the field, never use FUD to sell. Now, FUD is fear, the unknown, and the distrust. And I see a lot of salespeople do that. For example, we have ransomware coming up the line, and then suddenly everybody's got ransomware solutions and so on. Before you recommend any product, you must make sure that you use the organization's inherent security. And that's the way. I've seen people that they were salespeople before for security products, and then when they go work for organization, everything that they can protect, they want to get the product they used to resell inside. Be careful at that. What's your next step that you have to do? Make sure you get a LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn profile is a professional profile, and make sure that you keep and connect in a formal, professional networking environment. Use that purely for your networking. Facebook groups are informative, but has also a lot of noise. The signal to noise ratio is not good, meaning that I've seen a cybersecurity group on Facebook, and the guy would say, "Hey, somebody hacked my Facebook account. Can somebody hack it for me back?" And meantime, they're trying to get you to hack and give them the information. What I would also suggest is learn a programming language. Anything like Python or PowerShell, if you're in the Windows environment, I highly recommend that. C Sharp and things like that, because you'll use that to develop your own scripts and tools to do the security analysis. Networking skills in a sense of communication. For example, your Cisco routers, your patch panels, how that works, communication, fiber networking. Make sure you understand at that level, because that's what we do. Multiple operating systems is also definitely a must. I always see in some of these groups as well, and people sort of rag other people that they're actually using Windows and say, Apple or Mac OS is the best operating system, which, if you look at it deeper, the Mac operating system is actually the free BSD with a different kind of shell on top of that, a display environment. Now also is subscribe to information resources and make sure you are current with everything. That could be from Reddit, that could be from CERT notification, which is the Computer Emergency Response Team, and so on. Make sure you subscribe to all these so that you are always aware of what's going on around us. I personally listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'll actually put a little document with all the latest podcasts, which I believe is actually quite good. Now, also, if you have questions, you want some direct guidance from me, I don't have a problem. If you want to send some email to me, you can send it to cybersecurity@mervynpearce.com, and I'll try my best to actually respond to you as soon as possible to help develop your career further.